Okay. Hey.
And we are back with episode 8, part 3. Heather has met this strange guy that's a little goofy. Take it away, Heather.
So, Austin and I were together for about a year. I told him when we first got together, I did not want to get married. I'd just been married. He had been married. We had kids, but I was like, I don't want to get married. This is not what I want to do. I don't like the idea of it. Nothing good came out of my first one. Not trying to do this again. So,
one good thing came out of the first one.
Well, I like got Reese, but Reese was before we got married. Reese was before we got married. So I was like, not really on board with getting married. And I had told him, and he wanted more kids. And I was like, I'm not having more kids. I'm not getting married. Let me just go ahead and tell you, this is what I'm not negotiable about. Because I was 6 years older than Austin. I didn't want that. Mm-hmm. We already had 4 kids. And I don't know if y'all know, but 4 kids is a lot of kids, okay? And they're expensive, and they take a lot of time. And it was not. Did not want that. And I was very upfront with him about that. But at the same time, we did stay together, and we did, start banking accounts together, and we were paying bills together. So about a year and a half in, we finally decided, I was like, hey, we should probably get married. He's like,
That's
really?
Still my favorite proposal.
Why did you decide to get?
Yes.
It was a good idea all of a sudden.
Legality wise, it was better for us. Okay, the tax breaks are better when you're a married couple. So
that's a great reason.
A business decision.
And a business decision was made.
Yes.
Well, and our kids were of school age, and that way, if they needed a legal guardian, we were married. It just made it easier.
I'll sign the papers.
Yeah.
How did he propose to you?
He didn't.
Oh.
How did you propose to him?
Did you propose to him?
I didn't. I just told him, hey, I think we should probably go ahead and get married.
That counts as a proposal to me.
Yeah, I think that came from
and
you.
I mean, really, it was probably me. It wasn't him. And he was probably like, what?
Oh, he definitely said it that way when he told his. Yeah, you proposed to him.
Yeah, he was probably completely shocked.
Yeah.
So
okay, I don't think we've actually talked about this part. You originally had told him that you had no intentions and blah blah blah. Had it been disgusting, or just randomly one day you was like, I think we just need to go ahead and get married? Like there was.
It wasn't like a discussion. I don't think there was a discussion.
Put it all out on the table.
I like
you
it.
in or out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then we decided we were not going to have a wedding. I had already had a wedding with Brian, spent the money, bought the dress, wore the dress. Didn't want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Did not enjoy it. Didn't want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
He had been married previously, so there was really no point in him having a wedding. I didn't want to have to tell my parents or ask my parents' permission. I was an adult. I was paying my own bills. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I didn't tell anybody. Like, our close friends knew because we went to the beach.
Yeah.
And they were all there with us, but we didn't ask for anybody's permission, tell anybody what we were doing. We just kind of went to the beach for a week. Maybe we went for a week with friends and decided on like Wednesday or Thursday, we're just going to go ahead and get married. Walked down to the beach, got married. I remember the wedding. There were friends with us that might not remember the wedding. There are videos somewhere. I think there was a lot of laughter. I think there was a lot of jokes cracked. Needless to say, we got married.
Yep.
There was a license that was signed.
Sounds like a beautiful ceremony.
I love it.
It was a fun week. But we come back from the beach, filed our marriage license, and we were married. And we never can remember our anniversary. Never.
That's okay. As long as you both can't
remember. Neither one of us can remember. I have it in my phone.
But I would just tell Austin, if he ever goes back and listens to this, if he can ever get one up on you, that'd be a good one.
He's not going to.
Step.
Yeah.
He's not going to. He's not going to remember our anniversary.
Maybe he needs to get that tattoo.
Do you know what his
It would
mom,
be beneficial.
Yeah.
His mom remembers our anniversary. It's really weird.
Nita remembers a lot.
She saved him for figuring out some other things, for sure.
Yeah.
Nita remembers, but I don't ever remember our anniversary. And maybe I'm not sentimental in like the dates and stuff.
Absolutely not.
I'm not. The date's just a date.
No, we're married, and no, I love you.
Yeah, we're married. I love you.
We're married.
Yeah.
I said that statement to Angela last night.
Business-wise, we're married. You know what I'm saying?
We are. It was done. And I was telling me something last night, and I said, "Well, let me tell you what. I know a lot of things, and I know when I'm married, and I know when I'm not married." Okay.
Yep. There you go.
She couldn't tell me what she liked and didn't like, but I told her I knew real quick what I liked and what I didn't like. I mean, I knew. So we get married, we are raising our kids, we're doing all the things, and I'm pretty sure it was at Easter that we decide, hey, we need to go to church. Like, we need to go. You know, we need to be there. Our kids want to go. We need to go to church. So I'm pretty sure it was an Easter service that we went to all together. We had all 4 of the girls. It was our weekend with them. We take them to church. I know it was because there is a photo somewhere that Kim has saved on her phone. Kim, I'm going to need you to find this, okay? Somewhere way back when of me and Austin the first time we came together with all of our kids. And I'm pretty sure it was an Easter service.
Ain't Kim?
No. Kim Myers.
Oh, okay.
Kimmy K.
If you get it, we can put it up
Yes, I'm pretty sure there's a picture somewhere way back there.
before.
Mm-hmm.
It would be somewhere around.
So Kim would have already have got it by the time you asked her to get
21,
it.
Around 21?
2021.
Did this photo get posted on Facebook?
I don't think so. I
can
don't
find
think
that.
so. 20 or 21-ish, I'm thinking. It was right there after COVID. So maybe 21. Maybe. Somewhere around there. And we started trying to go to Amory first. That's where Austin's family was going. His mom was going there. His aunt was going there. I was like Nathan. I was real apprehensive of Justin. Justin's a lot, and I'm a lot as a person. I'm loud.
Well,
I'm
I can say this because I
demanding.
know where you come from, church standpoint. I get what you're saying by that, though. I mean, we had pastors that kind of got into it back,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, like I grew up with old school pastors that would sweat, that, you know, had the pocket squares, and they'd bring out the pocket squares and be wiping the sweat. And they'd take the jacket off and roll their sleeves up.
I've seen them jump on the first pew
Roll their sleeves up.
from steps to pew. Like
No.
I've never made. That's like a Holy Spirit moment because it's usually a
Yeah.
good distance.
No, I've never seen the pastor jump. But now some of my aunts, like great aunts and stuff.
And feeble as all get out, but in that moment they can.
Yes. Listen, ain't
don't
nobody
get
seen a Jericho march like women in the Holy
Bring
Spirit,
it on.
okay? I'm telling you.
Bring
I
it
don't know
on.
why we don't do it in our church.
Bring it
I'm going
on.
to have to talk to Mama Janice. We're going
Yeah.
to have to pull this back in.
Bring it on.
Yeah, so we decide we're going to try Amory first. So we don't really come consistently. And I think it was a kids' crusade that we had brought the kids to. And Annabelle went up front to the altar and was praying. And it hit me. And I was like, my kid needs to be here.
Mhm.
Why are we not doing better for her? So Austin and I have both kind of had conversations at that point, and I think Austin jumped all in a little bit heavier than I did at first, because I was kind of apprehensive. And maybe we had tried there a couple of times before we got married. So maybe we did try in 20 and then we got married in 21, and maybe we would go sporadically through 20, but not really quite all on board.
Well, you correct me if I was wrong, but you said he went all in. You said you was kind of having the issue. If I remember conversations, like you had an issue with it because you knew what you was doing.
Yeah.
Like when you
So-
left in the days that you're not there on Sundays.
Yeah, so it was hard for me because Austin had told his story obviously at this point, but he was raised in a church setting too.
Mhm.
So we both come from the same background as of knowing what our standards were, knowing what our morals were, knowing how to live a godly life.
Mhm.
And Austin was quicker to accept that and get back into it, whereas I think I'm a little bit more stubborn. I was a little bit more headstrong. It took me a little bit longer to decide I'm really ready to lay down the worldly life and come back to what God calls me to be. And Austin would, he would interact at church, and he would talk to people and pray and worship and do all the things, and I held back for a long time. I did for a long time. And Austin and I had conversations, and I didn't remember them as much as he did, and he was like, well, you told me you had a hard time with this, and I did. Because I was taught from a very young age that when you harden your heart to God, he can't respect that. if you know what's right and you still choose to do the complete opposite and what's wrong, God can't be any part of that. If you're going to live in darkness, you're going to live in darkness, and there's not going to be any part of the light, the goodness of God in that.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was a really hard thing to overcome. And I won't even attribute us getting to married to being a religious thing. Now, I think in my mind, on my earthly mental checklist of things I have to do to make God happy with me
Sure.
today, that was one of the things. And I really have to watch myself with that because I am such a list maker.
Yeah.
I will sit there and make out all the things that God requires me to do, and God doesn't require any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't. He's proud of us for doing it.
Mhm.
He's grateful that we've done it, and it does make being closer to him easier. But I think being married, the reason we did it was not for the Lord,
Yeah.
but it did in my mind to make it easier for me to let that stronghold go.
Sure.
So once we were married and our kids were coming and we could see them starting to actually grasp God, we both were like, hey, we really need to make some changes. And Austin was definitely the leader in that. He was definitely the first one to say, I want to change my lifestyle. And I know that changing my lifestyle means I have to cut out cussing. I have to cut out, drinking. And that wasn't hard for me. It was never that really holding me back. Now, the partying and the letting go of friends, that was probably hard. That probably hurt a little bit. That was probably something that took a little bit longer for me because sometimes it's hard to give things up. But God doesn't ask you to give things up if he's not going to replace it with something so much better. And that's something that's hard in your mental mind.
I suggest you go back and watch Emily's thing she done today. You'd like that because that's literally what she spoke
Yeah.
on part of that today. So it was good. Go ahead. Sorry.
So we are active in the church. It's probably, 21, 22-ish now. Probably 22.
21 when y'all
When we
started
invited y'all.
going, and Annabelle
Got
had her
baptized.
baptism and all that. Yeah.
So by the time 22 rolls around, we're probably pretty active in the church. Not really serving yet, but starting to help. This was pre-fire. This was in the old sanctuary. I started helping some on Wednesday night with girls. Just here and there if they needed an extra hand because my kids were there.
Mhm.
And I've always felt called toward that. So, we're helping with girls. I'm trying to get Brittany to help me with girls. I vividly remember Brittany saying, I will do anything but those girls on Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
And what the Lord did in that is hilarious. She did not, she was like, no, not that. But the Lord has ways
Yeah,
of working.
That's
He
good.
does.
Yep.
So we're, getting serious in church. And before me and Austin really got into Fireflies, I don't know if y'all remember, Justin preached a sermon one Sunday morning, and it was about serving. It was about dedicating our time and volunteering and being plugged in, because that's the big thing Justin used to say all the time. Get plugged in, get
Yep.
plugged in. And we had just had Pastor Wendell leave, and we needed somebody in Glow Kids and Fireflies. And during the sermon, I could not shake that the Lord was saying into my spirit, you need to go teach that class. You need to go teach that class. And I don't even think I asked Austin. I think I just went straight to Justin after service and I said, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know what you're looking for, but I'm telling you, the Lord is telling me that I need to start teaching Fireflies. I said, so if that's what you want, let me know when. And I started the next Sunday.
And Fireflies is what we call our 3, 4, and 5-year-old little Sunday morning class,
Sunday
I guess.
morning
Yeah.
children's church.
Children's, there you go.
And I probably taught that from that Sunday, 1.5 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
Nonstop. Very, very little stopping. So I started that just me. And then within a couple of months, I was pulling Austin back there with me to help. And he was like, oh, because that was not where Austin felt called, but he knew that that was my heart, and that's what I wanted to do. So in being the husband he was like, okay, let's go. So we started and we did children's ministry and Fireflies, and through all this, our marriage is getting better. Not that we ever had a terrible marriage, but it's hard to have, like I said before, it's hard to have a good marriage when you don't have God at the center of it.
That's right.
So our marriage is getting better. It's getting stronger. We're not really fussing. We're not really fighting. The Lord is blessing us. We're buying a new house. Jobs are good. Finances are good. Kids are good. Co-parenting is going better than you ever could have expected it to go. So we're really making leaps and strides, not due to us, but because we're actually being faithful in what the Lord's given us. And, I truly believe that when you're faithful, he says that will, show, his abundance will show. And, everything's going good. So you would think that our marriage is going great. And for the most part, it was. But Austin and I are still having disconnects. And, it's not that we're not parenting good. It's not that we're not showing up to church. It's not that we're not going to the same places or, enjoying being together. But we're not. There's still disconnects. And he's frustrated and I'm frustrated. And so many times, it's not that God doesn't forgive our sin. God will always forgive our sin. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to have a consequence because of that. And I had consequences I had to pay for and I had to deal with. And one of that was just a huge shame, like a guilt that was on me, because I had lived a very sexually frivolous life for a long time. It was hard for me to disassociate that into my marriage because I would still feel like I was wearing a big, huge scarlet A on my chest, and it was so hard to be able to go into my marriage and be present with Austin without feeling some sort of guilt or some sort of shame or just, hurting. And I didn't know how to explain that to Austin. I didn't know how you look at your husband and tell him, I love you and I want to be with you, but mentally I can't. Mm-hmm. And it's so hard. How do you say that without just completely breaking down or looking crazy or feeling crazy because you feel crazy?
Yeah.
So that was a really hard problem for us. And Austin would look back and he'd be like, when we first got together, we were fine. We loved each other. He's like, now and it was hard for him because his love language is completely different than my love language. Mine is like acts of service and gifts, and his is confidence building and touching and feeling. And, it was so hard. So we went through the marriage conferences and we did what you're supposed to do. And I remember so many times just breaking down, praying to God, why are we still having this problem? Why are we still having this struggle? And somewhere along the way, the Lord was faithful in answering prayers because eventually we both had just really hard talks. And it's not easy as a married couple to sit down and have those really hard talks. It's not easy. Yeah. It's uncomfortable for you. It's uncomfortable for your spouse. But through having those and through, praying for each other, and, Austin would tell me, he's like, I wake up before you, but I lay my hand on your back and it's because I'm praying for you. Through that, we were able to finally overcome and get to a place where we don't have near as much stress. And there's still kids. We're still raising kids. We're still going through the grind. Mm-hmm. That's not it. We're still working the same jobs. But the Lord was able to lift. And a lot of the shame and the guilt that we wear is not anything that the Lord ever put there for us. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's not at all. Now, you may have the consequences of what you did, and you may have to worry about some of that, but that wasn't God placing that on me. And I'm thankful for a Lord that forgives. I'm thankful for a husband that sat through that with me. I'm thankful that even when we weren't the perfect couple, we still found a way to put God first and come out of the other side with a testimony.
Yeah.
The last marriage conference we did, what was the guy's name that come?
Wayne.
Okay, his wife really touched me. She said it was so hard coming here to speak today because we were literally in the car driving up here fussing at each other. She said, and 2 days ago, we're on the couch, not even speaking, and she said, I couldn't imagine how I could come here and speak to you about marriages when mine felt so rough. And that spoke to me because some days, even in the good days,
That's right.
some days feel so rough. But just knowing that even in the rough days, Austin's still standing by my side. Even on the days when I don't feel like I've done anything right, that I have been the most terrible mother in the world, that I have let everybody down, just knowing that you have the partner there with you, knowing that they're willing to stand beside you. I know Kayla and Thomas's has just come out, and I hadn't had time to watch theirs yet, and I'm sure there's testifies to that too. But I'm so thankful. I'm thankful that the Lord cared enough about me to place Austin in my life, even though it was just the goofy rebound guy.
Sure.
I'm thankful that he placed him there because I would have never put us together. I could have never imagined that when we got together, what our story would be one day. And I mean, it's still going. I'm looking forward to being able to tell our grandkids a testimony one day of that. That's what I want. I don't want to leave a legacy of a broken marriage. I want to leave a legacy of love and instill that into our children so it just continues.
Right.
This was a hard one.
So where you're at today is your servant heart gets you in all kinds of situations.
Sometimes too many.
And I've heard him say it more than one time. Your husband say, he loves the way you worship. He loves your heart as well. And I think I can speak for everybody sitting here that if there's an event going on and she randomly finds out that there's no food there, there's about to be some food there.
I'm going to come in with a sweet
I've even
tea.
told her that I went and spent money and budget on food before, and there was still food that showed up. I've
can't
told
help
you
it.
before, and
You're not going to show up and not eat, okay?
that's right. I've told you before. So even after some things today, I don't know where my wife's journey would be without you.
I love Ashley. That's my girl.
Because she is she's always just kind of been to herself. She's always just kind of felt on the back burner. But the women everybody's wife that's sitting here have made my wife feel that way. It's awesome, and my kids love y'all, and I'll never have the words to be able to tell you thank you. So to me, it just a testament of who you are, and anybody that knows you in our church knows that they're going to get Heather at Heather. If it's the moment where
It's a
Heather
lot.
needs to be like Mama Bear, like,
I'm a
hey, you
lot.
need to go put some clothes on.
Pull
or if
them
it's,
shorts down.
do I need to feed you? You can give that love both ways where I feel like you don't care. That I know what I need to do, and I'm thankful for that. So
I know also everyone appreciates what you do in the nursery. I know,
hallelujah.
I don't know. Ella did not appreciate me in the nursery today.
Yeah, Austin had made a statement, something about that. I just left her, but sorry, go ahead.
Not everybody sees what goes on.
That's right.
That nursery's
behind. Once
wild.
that door closes,
That's
like,
right.
I mean, it's not like crazy conspiracy stuff going on back there,
Yeah.
but like it's
I don't know. Ella climbed 3 times today, and I finally put her in time out. I said, sit your tail down.
But if somebody says it looks like it's going smooth back there,
Yeah.
you know,
Hey,
all right.
you see fingerprints on that glass.
Help me. Yeah.
But no, it's always if somebody needs to be there to fill in, she's always there to fill in. And I mean, you pseudo run it.
I chaos coordinate. That's what I
Okay,
do.
coordinate.
Okay. I chaos coordinate.
Sometimes I feel like she's split in about 5 different areas, and somehow she'll work all 5. She'll go service for a minute. She'll come to youth room for a minute on Wednesday. She'll go sanctuary.
try.
Like I don't get it. I don't. And like you said, people don't really see what you do,
Yeah.
what y'all do. They just. I know they probably think, oh, they're good people for what they do, but the way you split yourself
Yeah.
up blows my mind sometimes. And still be that mama, still be that wife. There's really, the words aren't there for how much, even as a church, we appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I've got one question. If you're
Nathan, this is
No.
going to be a hard one.
no, well, maybe.
Nathan lived through so much of the last 10 years of my story.
I want to go back to when you said you were living at that dude's house with his parents and the whole just domestic dispute y'all had. You said you left. Was that the first time that had happened? Like a physical altercation?
So I guess the fighting had been going on for a long time. That was the first time I left with visible marks. Does that make sense? Like,
Emotional,
yeah. And I
but
think
nothing physical up until that point.
this is where my heart goes out to younger girls, and so much like there were comments made.
Okay.
You shouldn't wear that shirt. You look fat in those jeans. There were comments made that I, as a 20-year-old girl, probably should have been like, what?
Yeah.
But at the time, you're in a relationship, you think, oh man, maybe I really don't look good in this, and I think part of me was like, okay, I don't like that, but I'm not going to cause a scene. I'm not going to act a fool. I'm just going to go change. I'm just going to do whatever. That night was the first night it got fully physical to the point. But when I left and you could see visible marks and I knew there was no, even that morning when I left, he never apologized. There wasn't like an, I'm sorry, this went too far. It shouldn't have went that far. It was still a like, you really should think about what you do today. There was still the demeaning going on. And I think at that point something broke and I was like, hey, this is not how I'm about to spend the rest of my life, because that's what it would have been. And I see so many people that get stuck in that situation.
And I guess that's my question. If there's somebody listening, I mean, we've both got kids that are teenagers, and they're going to be
Dating.
probably at that point sometime
Way too
soon where
soon.
those words get said, and God forbid somebody put their hands on them. What can you tell those, whether it be a mid 20-year-old girl or a teenager that listens to this? What can you tell that young girl?
So I think now, and we just had the event this weekend, that is why I'm so big in instilling into our girls their worth. Your worth doesn't come from the guy you're dating. I tell my kid that
Absolutely.
constantly. Your worth does not come from who you're dating. Your worth does not come from who you're talking to. Your worth does not come from how good you did on the softball field this weekend or how good your grades are. Your worth comes from what the Lord says you are.
That's right.
And how he says you are. And that is one thing that I really love. Chrissy Boren does a great at the table. That is something I push into every year. We just did Daughter of the King this year. I love that. Instill into these girls, you are worthy. You are a daughter of the Most High King.
That's right.
No matter who or what people say or think about you, you're not that. You're not what the world says you have to be. But now, as an older teenager or a woman that is in that situation, don't ever base how good you are or how worthy you are off of what somebody says to you. Don't do that at all. Because I can tell you, my husband loves me and he builds me up all the time, but my husband doesn't make me who I am in the King's eyes.
Yeah.
That's not it at all. And he's a great husband and he loves me and he does great and good things for our family. But
It could go either way.
but there is so much more, and so much of that has and Brittany could attest to this too. Our confidence in who we are as women has come so much further since really pushing into our relationship with Jesus, really pushing into what he says over us, the promises he has made to us. And that's where I think so much of the shame and the guilt and the worry and anxiety has kind of broke. I think Austin talked a little bit in his about when he lost his job. And I was like, okay. And he was
I
like,
do remember that day.
and he was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I have another closing in 5 minutes. I've got to go back to work. Okay. We'll figure out what you're going to do, but I'm going back to work. And I never really, a lot of that worry and that
You better
stress,
pick up some cans on the side of the highway
That's right.
on the way home, just in
That's right.
case.
a lot of that worry and that stress that the world puts on you and that we put on each other will fade away when you
100%.
know that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Austin could lose his job again tomorrow. I hope he doesn't, but he could.
Good.
Because that's not what I'm looking for validation. That's not what I'm looking for gratification or approval. You know, what the Lord has said and what he continues to speak over our lives, that's what we need to look for. That's
Solid answer.
I'm with it.
Just put Jesus there and you let him take care of the rest. I love it. Ty, you got anything else?
I'm good.
This was fun. I hope y'all can hear me this time.
I think we're going to be able to.
I hope so.
I sure hope so.
If they
Lord
can't, we're
Jesus,
not doing
please.
We are not doing it
We're not doing
again.
I will not be re-recording this a third time.
Well, all right, guys. We've got some content going out now. We got some things coming up in the future we're pretty pumped about.
Yeah.
Really pumped about. And I think y'all will be too. We'll let out some more information on that as we get a little bit closer. But Ty, will you close us out in prayer, sir?
Yes. Dear God, thank you for the day. Thank you for letting all of us gather here and talk about your greatness, Lord. And thank you for Heather for having the bravery to come on and speak about what she's been through, and hopefully it will touch someone else that listens to this, God. In your name I pray. Amen.
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 See y'all.